What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about not fountain pens. You're like, what? I thought all you used was fountain pens. Well, yeah, ultimately, or ideally, all I like to use is fountain pens, which is probably about 90% of the time. But sometimes there's a situation where you cannot use a fountain pen. When you are in a situation where you have to write on less than ideal paper, we go out of our way to find paper that's like really nice and that like works well with fountain pen inks. And you know that there's certain paper that works better with certain kinds of inks and vice versa, certain inks that work better on paper, and you kind of come up with those combinations between the nib, the ink, and the paper, and it comes up to that perfect kind of combination. You're like, dang, this is a sweet writing experience. But when you're not using your own stuff at home, I ran into this situation on Wednesday where I was with some other folks and I needed to write some stuff and I did not have cool paper. All I had was regular like lined notebook paper from Staples. And I actually did not have one of these options with me. And I was like, oh, you know what? I need to plan better so that I have something that I can use. And I ended up having to use a pen that I really, really hated. And I had to write for like an hour and a half with a pen I really hated. So we're going to solve that problem because I had left all of these at home. In fact, one of these is new. So we're going to talk about a few of the options that I have available in my collection that I use for just daily writing, and I always have one with me to do things like write on government forms, things like write on receipts sometimes, depending, and various things like that. You're at the doctor's office and you have to fill out a form. Sometimes a fountain pen isn't the best thing for that. So let's look at a couple of these options. Let's kind of go crazy, first of all. This is actually a Mont Blanc. This is a Starwalker Douai. You can see the Mont Blanc logo there. And this is a Starwalker Douai. And I bought this pen at the Mont Blanc store. Mont Blanc in Las Vegas, actually. I bought this probably, a few years ago. This is a nice pen. It works well. It's just a ballpoint, but it matches. I have the matching Starwalker fountain pen to go with it now. I've actually added that to my collection. But this was my first Mont Blanc. I actually got a ballpoint. So I like this pen. I do use it if I'm going to be dressed up, and I'll take the set. I'll take the Starwalker fountain pen and this, and I'll have it as a set, and I will bring that thing with me and write with it, and it's pretty nice. It comes with a Mont Blanc refill. I know there's a lot of folks that don't like the Mont Blanc refill. You can put any number of things in there, and but I just haven't found a reason to. I like the one that's in there. So there you go. There is a Mont Blanc Starwalker Douai. So that's kind of the craziest over-the-top situation. It is the least like a fountain pen. It is a ballpoint. It writes like a ballpoint. It writes like a very nice ballpoint, but it writes like a ballpoint. So it's not, a ballpoint's a ballpoint. So there you go. So there's that one. Next, I would say in my kind of by preference, would be this right here. Now this is a Fisher Space Pen, and this is the astronaut version. So it came with a little moon rock looking package. So you push here and then you side click here you push the knock down, and then this releases the knock to retract the pen. So this is also a ballpoint, but this is the Fisher Space Pen. And the thing about these is they have a sealed cartridge, sealed ink cartridge. So when you take this apart, you'll see that these are made to write in weightlessness. If you ever find yourself in that situation, this is a pressurized ink cartridge. It will also write upside down. It will write in a lot of situations when it's very cold outside. And these pens are not incredibly expensive. You can get versions of them. I'll leave links to them in the description. I'll leave links to everything, except for maybe the Mont Blanc. I don't know if I have a link for that, but I'll leave a link to all this stuff in the description because this is actually a pretty accessible priced pen and it writes really, really well for a ballpoint. So if you need to have a ballpoint, of my collection anyway, this is my favorite. If you have an idea for your favorite ballpoint, let me know in the comments. But I do like this pen a lot. Okay, so then probably the next on my list would be these two pens. Now they're the same maker, they're the same model, and they're the same ink refill. These are actually Tactile turn, bolt action gel pens, and they have these are really neat. They're look how well they're machined. You can't even tell that there's a seam there. You screw this apart. This comes apart, and there is a Pilot G2 refill in there. So this is a gel, you know, of course, because it's a Pilot G2. This one's pretty tarnished because I've had it for quite a while and I've used it a lot. And you actuate the pen like so. And this pen writes extremely well. This might be one of my favorite kind of daily writer. It's very heavy duty because, let's see, it has a Pilot G2. You can, it's very easy to find these refills. They write really well and they're just super accessible. Now the pen itself, I'll leave a link to it. I think they're about $100, something like that, but it's indestructible pretty much. Absolutely cool. And then this one, they come in a couple different sizes. So this is the long one. This is pretty heavy because it's copper. This is titanium and it's a lot shorter. So this is a pen that I always have with me. This is the pen I thought I had with me the other day and I didn't. So this takes a Pilot G2 Mini refill, or you can cut one of those down. So this is the same pen, the Tactile turn, with the Pilot G2 Mini inside. But they come, you know, you can use probably, I don't know how many types of refills you could use inside. They come in a skinnier version. They come in a side click version. They come in this bolt action version. The reason I prefer the bolt action version is if you're going to put this in your pocket, here's what can happen. If you put a this kind of click, a side click in your pocket, it has a possibility or a chance of deploying in your pocket and inking up your pocket. Where the bolt action ones, it's very difficult or if not impossible to accidentally deploy this pen in your pocket. So that's why I prefer this style for more of an EDC sort of situation. If I'm gonna have a pen that is not a fountain pen. We've talked about EDC fountain pens in the past, but for an EDC non-fountain pen, these two are probably gonna be just about my favorite. Now, if we're going for pure writing experience, if we want to feel almost exactly like a fountain pen, but not as good as a fountain pen, but as close as possible, this is a Retro 51, and these are, what are they called? Yeah, the Retro 51 Tornado. This is in Beach Blonde. They have these in all kinds of different Retro 51 Tornado, and this one is Beach Blonde. They have them in tons of colors. This is a Gold Spot exclusive, I'm pretty sure. But this pen writes so smooth that you might almost think you are writing with a fountain pen. It is a Rollerball, which means the ink is much, so you would have like a gel style ink in this pen, and you basically have like an oil-based ink in this pen, right? In this pen, it's still water-based like fountain pen ink, but a little different because it dries differently and stuff. And it has to go through a ball. So the way you take this pen apart to replace it is the screw comes off the end like so, and the spring, and there is the Retro 51 insert. And so, you know, obviously the trick with these is you don't have as many ink colors and stuff. But these are also, you know, some of the designs you can find them on sale for, I don't know, 29 bucks or something. But yeah, the writing experience with a rollerball is pretty killer. And they come in tons and tons of colors. So I would say these two pens right here are probably my favorite. All of these pens are you know, they have their purpose, right? But I would say that this Retro 51 for writing experience and this Tactile Turn Titanium Short with the Pilot G2 Mini is my favorite for writing experience slash packaging function, if that makes sense. And then these other two for a close second or third, you know what I mean? Like going back to a normal ballpoint. So there you go, just a couple of options for you. I'll leave links to all this stuff in the description. If you use those links, that helped out the channel, but if you don't have to, obviously, that's up to you. Let me know, if you're not writing with a fountain pen, what are you writing with? Please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.